Ladies, gentlemen, and young ladies, good evening again. Good evening to all of you. You are once again the welcome here to the Awakening Platform Consciences. In the news international, Israel has just given justification. Why did Israel eliminate the Hamas officials by striking the Qatar? Yes, Israel has just given the reason. But meanwhile, the UN Secretary General has just to take up arms against Israel. Yes, he just stepped up, and so the situation is changing. Degenerate true as you can imagine it. So as part of this video conferencing, this is what news that we are going to talk about. But before continuing into the depths, please share the video conference at maximum, and I will inform you immediately. In Nepal, it's not going well in Nepal. The Nepal is between India and China. Yes, the government building is in fire. Right now, I'm to speak to you. The wife of the former prime minister was sent to eternal rest. In Nepal, things are not going well. The youth is out in the streets. The youth is in protesting. That's another one subject, another hot topic, and which has geopolitical implications that we'll touch on that later. Don't go that way. But let's go first in the depths compared to what is happening between Israel, the Qatar, Hamas. Let's go deep. So, Jerusalem is justified. What happened yesterday in Jerusalem, this is the continuation. This is the answer that Israel has just given. You know, Israel was hit yesterday in the heart of Jerusalem, a shooting at a bus stop where many have been sent to eternal rest. Many people were killed. Before that, an airport was hit in southern Israel. The airport state was closed temporarily, and we saw Benjamin Netanyahu, who had gone out to say these attacks of the enemy will not weaken us. On the contrary, it will strengthen us in our determination. He says it. And today in Qatar, there is a delegation from political office of the high Hamas authorities, which should hold a meeting. I was in a meeting, by the way. It must be said that Qatar is still protector for political leadership of Hamas. And apparently what happened there, Hamas is behind what happened in Jerusalem yesterday. We all saw the images. And that's why Israel therefore targeted the building in question, that which we talked about in the previous video conference. And Israel has hit this building. And we learned that all those who were there were sent to eternal rest. So the direction Hamas's policy has been neutralized. For the moment, we are waiting for the final confirmation. So yesterday, this terrorist attack, which took place in Jerusalem, caused many victims, as was said. In reaction, the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Israel Katz, have issued a press release. Their line, Israel decided to eliminate the Hamas leadership, believing that this is a legitimate response to aggression. So for Israel, that this is a legitimate response to aggression. So Tel Aviv assumes a logic of total retaliation after a rocket, and the tunnels are the political head of the Hamas becoming the target. Okay. And so the strike in Doha is another one strategic turning point. We did not miss to say it in the video conference previous. This strike in Doha on a building in Qatar where the leader was located of Hamas in Gaza and the head of the office of the movement abroad and others figures of the political office. This building was hit. So in striking outside Gaza, Israel shows again once there is no longer a place of hiding place for Hamas leaders. No more sanctuary. Israel has no limits. Wherever they go to retreat in this world, they will be chased by the anger of Israel, caught up, and they will be sent to eternal rest. So here is a situation which becomes complicated, and it is no longer a war of border. It is a global hunt for the Hamas leadership. So this global tract is not pleasing at the UN because in this tract, Israel is violating the sovereignty of certain states such as Qatar. And if Qatar reacts in one way, the matter will now remain between the Qatar and Israel. So it's going to be from state to state. So the UN stepped up to the plate. The UN carried out an immediate condemnation. And so it is the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, who has condemned the Israeli strike. He condemns the Israeli strike, knows that Antonio Guterres has been declared personata in Israel. He had even wanted to go there. The authorities, Israelis, said, no, you don't have your place here. So therefore, But everything done in his role of Secretary General of the largest international organization, he came out to condemn the strike of the Qatar side. What is the motive he has cleared? It clears the pattern of the violation of the sovereignty of a state third Qatar. That means he doesn't ban Israel to pursue the Hamas leadership, but to the point of hitting another sovereign territory. But it's too much, that is to say, Israel believes itself to be the master of world in the image of its boss America. So the United Nations says, the UN Secretary General says there is a violation of the sovereignty of a state third party, which is Qatar, and there is the bet in danger of regional stability. Even the UN is often paralyzed on this Israeli-Palestinian dossier increases the time. This shows the seriousness of the act. The situation becomes very serious. But still, Qatar is in this dilemma. Qatar is still in a dilemma. And he means that this strike weakens Qatar's mediation role and risk to cause a diplomatic crisis. As we had not failed to say just now, Qatar risks going to war with Israel. So what should be said in conclusion? In conclusion, by publicly assuming the targeted elimination of the leaders of the Hamas, Israel internationalizes the conflict and defies the rules global diplomacy. And so what this can lead to, you already know, when the conflict becomes international. And so, young ladies and gentlemen, that was the front page of international news. Thank you for the share as much as possible. I'll get back to you soon with news information. It was the voice of your unique samurai.